Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another season of NCL. Yeah, it's been a while since I've uploaded proper NCL stuff, but here we are this day, starting off a new season. Now, unfortunately, I have been playing very bad when it comes to Pokemon recently. I don't know if I'm just playing bad or if everyone I play is getting better while I'm not improving at all, but I mean, not that it really matters. It's not like I play for super serious or anything, but yeah, what I'm trying to say is I have been demoted down to Mareep, which is the lowest div in our Nimbasa City League. So I will be aiming to try and promote up by either winning this season or by winning a promotion match at the end of the season. But either way, I've got to aim to try and do pretty decently. Is the plan, is the hope, and I guess we'll see what the team is that I'm hoping to do that with. The first Pokemon that I have up, let's bring up its stats and see if we can. I mean, obviously I know what it is, but that's its base stats. Don't know if anyone's gonna realize what Pokemon it is straight off from that. I know that I definitely would not, but that's because it is a brand new one from DLC 2. Yeah, I picked up Gouging Fire as my first Pokemon, and as you can see up in the top right corner, it is Terra Fire. NCL does allow you to, I think there's only like one, maybe two Pokemon out of the whole thing that have Terra banned on it. One of them off the top of my head being Giratina Origin. Giratina, whatever way you want to say it, is Terra banned, can't use Terra as far as I understand. And obviously that is item locked. Yeah, NCL has some fun complexes that we use to allow a bit of a more diverse Pokemon set. But yeah, Terra Fire on Gouging Fire so that it can do some big hits, hopefully is the dream. You take a quick look at its moveset. Body Slam. Oh, Burning Bulwark, like a Protect that burns is pretty cool. I haven't really looked into these new Pokemon too much yet. I haven't had the opportunity to play with them or anything. But I do know that it gets things like Dragon Dance and all that kind of stuff. I have been told that Heat Crash is a pretty good move to use on it. I do believe it gets like a fire type Outrage as well as Outrage. But yeah, pretty cool guy. Does get the Terra Blast. Not that that's going to really matter, seeing as I'm Terra Fire. And it's more of a physical attacker than a special attacker, so things like Weather Ball and all that kind of fun stuff are not necessarily great. I did see that it gets Scale Shot as well. You can't see it because it won't let me scroll down that far, but Scale Shot is pretty cool. Temper Flare, which is a fire type Stomping Tantrum, is pretty cool as well. Very interesting. Yeah, that's not too bad. So yeah, that's my first pickup. Up next, let's have a look at the moveset and see what we can figure out from that. Body Press, Body Slam, Brick Break, Bulk Up, Close Combat, Double Edge, Earth Power, Earthquake. So maybe Ice Spinner. Okay. Rapid Spin. Nice, some removal. That's going to be useful for Gouging Fire for sure. Stealth Rocks. Yeah, so my second pickup was Great Tusk. There we go. Another pretty bulky guy. I guess I didn't really look at Gouging Fires. These are Gouging Fires stats. Yeah, pretty bulky. That's not too bad. Decent attack stat for the bulk that it gets. I'm going to be relying on Dragon Dance and Sun a lot, I think, to get off some big hits though. Whereas Great Tusk, that's a very nice attack stat and very physically bulky as well. I've got a very physically bulky team so far, which is pretty nice. And speed stat isn't terrible here either, which is pretty cool. So yeah, as you can probably tell, I am going for a little bit of a Proto-Synthesis core to start with, and to go along with that, I did pick up Screamtail as my third. As you can see here, very high HP stat as well, and decent bulks to go along with that, and a nice speed tier as well. Special defense is very nice to balance out the physical defense of my other two mons, which is going to be pretty nice as well. Oh, I should probably say Great Tusk was Steel Terror. I did forget to mention that, whereas Screamtail is taking the Water Terror. Steel Terror on Great Tusk is a good defensive type to go along with the bulk that it has, and water here, same deal for Screamtail. Obviously, it does mean I can still get poisoned, but that's not as big of a deal, because I believe Screamtail gets like Heal Bell and stuff like that, potentially. I don't know that for sure, and maybe not. I can't remember off the top of my head if it does. Maybe not. No, it doesn't. Wow. There you go. Well, either way. Screens, all that kind of good stuff. Yeah, got some decent rock set up as well, which is nice. Trick, Wish. And obviously, to go along with these three Proto-Synthesis mons to start off with, I am going to need a Sunsetter. Now, I think it's pretty unanimous that Torkoal is probably up there for one of the better Sunsetters available. Not that there's many of them, but unfortunately Torkoal did get taken by the team that has Walking Wake, understandably, but annoyingly. But that means that I took, some of you might be thinking Ninetales, but no, I took Mega Charizard Y up next. Now, because Gouging Fire can be useful enough with being able to set its own sun, as I've seen a few of my boy Seabad's games has been using that recently as well. Obviously, Mega Charizard Y cannot set up Sun using the items, the rock item that sets up Sun for longer. Heat Rock is the one I'm thinking of, but that's alright, doesn't need it. Can set up Sun. Obviously, it also cannot hold heavy duty boots, so that's 4 times rock weakness is sticking around for a while, but hopefully, like Great Tusk with Steel Terror will be able to help out with that. Or even just its fighting ground type to start with some rapid spins and stuff like that. But also, to help out with that, obviously, Megas can't Terra as well, so no Terra type for this guy. Next up, I picked up Metagross. Obviously, not necessarily great in the sun, but I've got majority of the sun core that I need. I don't think I really pick up anything else that's going to be too useful in the sun. But Metagross is always going to be useful. Obviously, it's going to be good for switching into Fairy and Psychic type stuff that Great Tusk and Gouging Fire aren't necessarily going to want to tank, though Gouging Fire is obviously neutral to Fairy. It's not as good as still being resistant to Fairy, right? But yeah, Metagross with the Steel Terror, so it can Terror to dodge those Dark and Ghost weaknesses as well, is useful. Also boosts the bullet punches that it can do, all that kind of jazz. Now, I was told that it did get a few buffs in the recent DLC, or like in newest gen, whatever, but I haven't looked into it too much. But you know, it's just always going to be kind of useful, I think. A lot of versatility to it. B boost with Trailblaze, okay. Trailblaze into some Meteor Mashers, hopefully get some attack boost on that. That could be cool. Yeah, so there's definitely offensive and defensive utility with Metagross, which I like. Not going to complain about that too much. Up next, after this, I wanted to get something that's going to be useful for hard-hitting water types, I guess, because like even if I do have Sun up, a lot of my teams is not necessarily going to be super useful against water types. So yeah, I was looking at different water types, and Jellicent fell to me, which is pretty cool, I guess. It does get that water absorb, which it will use most of the time, and I took Terra Fairy on that just because fairies are super useful. Defensive typing, obviously, and it just does what its Jellicent things does. Strength Sap is always fun. Yeah, just some more bulk, special defensive bulk to help out there as well, to help out Screamtail, so I'm not using Screamtail as the specially defensive mon all the time. But yeah, not too much to say about this. Jellicent does Jellicent things. And always nice to have some recovery. Pain Split if you want to be annoying. Does get Poltergeist, which is cool. Not that it's a very physically offensive, but like obviously you're going to run Hex most of the time or something like that with some Toxic or Will-O-Wisp kind of fun stuff. Water Spout. Has it always got Water Spout? The fact that it gets Water Spout is pretty cool. But yeah. Next up, I was looking for some Prankster support. I was looking at like Tornadus Incarnate. I was considering Grafai. What other kind of things? I was maybe looking at Grimmsnarl or something like that, but in the end I ended up taking Thunderous Incarnate, which is pretty cool. That's good for things like Prankster Defogs, Tailwinds. I put Terra Flying on it. If I want to go like Defiant Acrobatics or something like that, which is I know a possibility. It does get things like Knockoff and that kind of jazz. Obviously, it's a better especially offensive mon than physically offensive, but some Defiant sets could come out, knowing me. Though, I mean, I obviously am trying to win. Wild Bolt Storm, 20% chance to paralyze, can't miss in rain, so if someone tries to bring rain to mess with my sun, that could be a good bring as well. Does it get Hurricane? Doesn't look like it. No. But whatever, it gets Flying Terra Blast with my Terra, so not going to complain too much about that. Gonna be happy with that grab for sure. Next up, why did I grab this next thing? I can't remember. I mean, obviously my team could definitely use some more removal just in case. A grass type or any ground types that might want to take advantage of Gouging Fire, Metagross, stuff like that. Not that I'm particularly ground weak with things like Mega Charizard and Thundurus now as well, but yeah, better safe than sorry. Obviously, it's going to be weak to ice types, but I'm not too worried about them with things like Gouging Fire, Great Tusk, Metagross, Mega Charizard Y. I did give it Terra Water just to help out in that aspect as well. Obviously, another Rapid Spinner here can Spore. Obviously, Mycelium Might means it always moves last with status moves, but the fact that it doesn't miss or like goes through abilities, stuff like that, I believe. Ignores abilities, yeah. Is pretty cool. Yeah, Water type lets it tank those ice moves if needed. And I mean, obviously, Water is just a nice defensive type. It'll help out against anything trying to abuse my fire, like my Sun as well with fire moves. So, not a bad grab, especially for this late in the draft, I think. Does everything I need it at this point. Now, at this point, I was starting to run low on points, obviously. last few picks, and picked up a couple of big things like Gouging Fire, Great Tusk, Scream Tail, Thunderous Eye, Mega Charizard Y, all relatively high in points. Because this is a tier points draft hybrid kind of thing that we do in NCL. But yeah, next up I grabbed Dunsparce, Terra Fairy, because it's just going to be a nice defensive type to go with this. I was considering maybe Steel, but to dodge poisons, or maybe Poison to dodge toxic, stuff like that, you know how it is. But once again, another relatively bulky mon, gets recovery, gets a little bit of utility, does have Serene Grace, so is very likely to get paralyzes with things like Body Slam, stuff like that, etc. So definitely not a bad addition to the team, though who knows how many games it'll come to when you look at the rest of my team. But it's nice to have in the back pocket just in case, because I know that I've definitely underestimated it in the past, so it's quite possible that other people might as well. And that'll help with like Ghost weaknesses from like Metagross and Jellicent, Screamtail, and stuff like that, I hope. Fingers crossed. Another thing to help with Ghost weaknesses and to suck up any toxic spikes that might get placed against me, which is not going to be unheard of, I don't think, is Skuntank, which I've given Terra Fire, so that if I want to, it's in the sun and I feel like flamethrowing, or, I mean, God forbid, Fire Blast. Not that I really think I'm going to use that because I don't like missing. But yes, could get some big hits off of that if I need. But once again, another decently tanky mon. Bulky. Yeah, I actually drafted a pretty bulky team. It is relatively slow though, with like 111 being my fastest mon at the time. At this point, obviously, by the way I'm talking, you can guess that I decided to get a little bit more speed for my last mon. I mean, I kind of built this team taking into account that I would be picking up this guy at some point anyway, because it's obviously a mon that I quite like and have used a couple of times to varying effects, but yeah, I picked up my boy Ninjask as my final mon. 160 speed and speed boost. It outspeeds most of anything. Obviously, it's not hitting super hard. I've given it Terra Dark because I felt like doing something different to the Terra Flying I had last time, and Terra Dark, I guess, for any prankster T-Waves and stuff like that. Like, obviously, there's not every team is going to have that. So maybe picking up something better defensively, or just the Terra Flying to boost any acrobatics, shenanigans, etc. that I want to do at some point. Could have been better, but I don't know. I just wanted to try something different. I mean, who knows how many times I'll actually bring this season. Probably more often than I should, because I like it that much. But the top half of my team looks very strong in my eyes. So, I mean, I'm sure that things like Gouging Fire, Great Tusk, Thunderous, Scream Tail, Metagross, Mega Charizard Y. Yeah, that top half of my team will be coming the majority of the time, I believe. I mean, depending on the matchups, obviously, as it always is in Draft League, it's how it goes. But yeah, that is my team. Please let me know what you think. If I stand any chance. I feel like it's not the worst team I've ever drafted, that's for sure. It does have some hard hitters. I don't necessarily know how synergistic it all is together, but only one way to find out. I will be trying to promote, but also I do know that I'm half washed, so if worse comes to worse and I do only do okay, well, then that offers me the opportunity to mess around in my 15th season next season. So we'll see how we go with that. But anyway, yeah, thanks for watching. That is my NCL14 draft. So let me know what you think, and thanks for watching, and I will catch you all next time. Peace.